G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we bring you a very special cast. We'll get into it a little bit later about why this is so special. At least it's special for me. I'm sure it'll be special for you guys as well. Anyway, let's introduce our players and take a look at the map that we've got. We are on Enlightened Horizon. This is the very first cast that we've got of the brand new patch. The last couple of videos that you've seen would have been from the last patch. Unfortunately, the devs dropped that very quickly on us, so we didn't get a whole lot of information, but let's introduce our players, and then we'll get into the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the east side of the map in the color red, playing as the Ottomans, it's Louis MT. And on the south side of the map in the color purple, playing as the House of Lancaster, representing Team Liquid, it's Demu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. A pleasure to have your company, and as you'll see, we've got quite some new additions to caster mode. First and foremost, you can now see up in the top left-hand corner that we've got the ability to track how many menas there are, as well as how many Lords of Lancaster there are. Now, we already had the ability to see the Vizier system, but that is, of course, something that's relatively new in this most recent patch. But you can also see that we get a little bit more information about the players. We now see whether they're using an Xbox controller, playing an Xbox, all that kind of stuff, versus whether or not they're on PC. So the big news for me, this is the very first cast that I'm doing standing up. I've wanted a standing desk for a long time, but I've always found myself in this sort of awkward space between, you know, wanting a standing desk and then not sure if I'd ever use it enough. So anyway, I've taken the jump, I've taken the plunge, I've bought myself a nice standing desk, and I tell you what, this is a standing cast right now. We're standing up, we're talking. So the acoustics of the room might be a little bit different, so just let me know. I don't know if we've got any audio engineers for hire in the comments, but if you're an audio engineer, give me a shout out and let me know how we're doing, because I've tried my best to make it sound all good, but I can still hear quite a bit of I don't want to say echo, but there's definitely a bit of reverb in there, and anyway, we'll get it all sorted out. Let's take a little look at what we got. House of Lancaster, of course, dropping the Lancaster Castle here early on in this game. Interesting decision to put the mining camp here. I think he was trying to get away with a 2-for-1, but unfortunately, he's going to be a little bit uneconomic with this opening. If he decides to actually keep this mining camp, I suspect he'll have to drop down another one. We do see he's got a pretty good position here, though, and I think this is one of the top things about this map, is you can obviously put down your manors near your Lancaster Castle, but then where do you put them, though? That's the trouble, right? Like, you don't have a whole lot of space in your base. It is an awkward map to play on, and I think that's part of the reason why we often see good games on it. I think we've done maybe 1 or 2 games on this map so far, and both of them have been absolute bangers. So I'm curious to see exactly how we get to see these two guys today stack up against each other. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with either of these two players, two of the best players in the world, Louis MT recently won an event. Demu, I don't know when the last time he won an event was, but he's obviously a very good player. I think top 3, top 4, somewhere in that region. So very competent player. And we get to see one of the interesting points of interest that is not unique to this map, but something that they're definitely testing a little bit more. And you can see Louis out here actually capturing both of them. So this little point of interest right here is going to be providing about enough, or the same resources that you would get from a single villager, maybe a little bit more. It's split, you could see, coming in wait, is that every 30 seconds? Passively generating 15, no, okay. It just pays you every 30 seconds. So you've got these two. You've also got out towards the middle, the Ronin, which allows you to hire Ronins. And in the north, you've got the Wolf Dens. I like how it's mirrored. And do we have, I don't think there's any more. No, I think that's pretty much it. So you've got 5 now that you can get, and oh no, I take it back, there is also the abandoned outpost as well between the two players' bases. That's what I was looking for. I was like, don't we have an abandoned outpost somewhere? But the men are now going to be coming up for Demu. First one at about 4 minutes, so not a bad little timing that he's got right here. We'll check in on the other side of the map, because obviously Louis has opened up with a military school, going for a little bit of a long distance mine right here, but decides to throw down the mining camp. He's got the double stone next to the town center, which is obviously going to be lovely for him to get all of those additional military schools up, or town centers, or keeps, whatever it is that he's looking for. Age up now, 4 minutes 27, not a bad little timing for him either. Twin minaret madrasa, plenty of food. Now the question is, what kind of strategies do we see out of these players today? I would suspect we probably see a bit of feudal age, just because of how tight you are on this map. Like, realistically, when it comes to your food sources, they're at the back of the base, and I think at the very least you want enough units that you can get out and start to secure these food resources. And of course it is towards the back of the base, but you know, you're still going to need something, whether it be spearmen or yeoman or something, to try and deny any enemy presence from out behind that base. But let's check in and see how Louis is doing, because he's obviously aged up now. And looking at his resources, it looks like it's probably just going to be standard military school, blacksmith, that sort of thing. I don't really know how you go about base building on this map, though. It's a very awkward map to be base building on. You can see even right now, he's a little bit confused as well. I don't know whether he can fit a blacksmith in the middle here or what the deal is. I suspect he probably could, judging by it, but you can see that we've got a little bit of a cliff here. But yeah, they have the devs have completely, I'm not going to say completely redone, but they've definitely changed up quite a bit when it comes to caster mode. So this, you guys can't really see it, but so down over here in this bottom right-hand corner, this is all new. What else have they changed? They've changed some other stuff as well. Yeah, immediately when I saw that, I was like, hold on a minute, why is everything different? And speaking of different, have a look at this. This is a different kind of mana right here. This is an aggressive kind of mana that is coming out. This is something that could really be punished by the Ottomans if Louis MT wants to. So I feel like Demu's, yeah, okay, he's making the right choice. He's going into the double archery range, because the reality is I don't think you're going to be getting too many more manas down with an early mana this aggressive. I feel like just maybe even going something more defensive back here could have made a bit more sense. Just if I'm Louis MT and I see this right now, I'm thinking there's never a better excuse than right now to go for a battering ram. This is just asking for it. And how much does Louis know? Louis knows about the second mana as well. So there's 100% a world where you can come try and sneak in here and really try and deny this. Of course, you know, there are arrow slits that are on these manas, but at the end of the day, if someone really tries to take them down, they should be able to get them, especially when you're talking about Ottomans. Very powerful when it comes to your unit strength. But interestingly for Louis, it looks like it's just going to be a castle age timing that we see here. So not going to be looking to play into feudal, not going to be committing down that road at all. We'll check in with the Vizier points and see what route he goes, because of course we can now do that. And I tell you what, isn't it so lovely to be able to do it? The minimap actually cutting off a little bit here, so I'll have to fix that up. And I did actually make it quite a bit smaller here. But very curious to see how Louis plays this, but you can see he's now done that final hand in. So just going to be playing a bit of a slow pace. Demo on the other side, it reminds me of the way that he used to play English. We often saw Demo going for, when he was playing English, that spearman longbow opening into battering rams, doing the same thing I was sort of talking about just then, that Louis MT was doing. But Louis just going to be keeping it standard, keeping it simple. Castle Age is going to be the play for him. We see the Imams coming out, so that obviously means he's gone down that route into the Imams, and we now hear the MIA being placed down. So nice little base that he's managed to put together here. Stable, where is the stable? That's the question. How long until we see that stable coming up? And hey, take a look at this. Vils at the back on that safe gold. Obviously aware that the Yeoman can be problematic. They're already starting to fire down at this house. This wall not going to be able to hold forever, but the age up, once it comes through, should be able to deal. Oh, he's going into men at arms instead of going into knights. Very interesting decision, but looking to pick up the relics at the moment, doing a wonderful job. And I just want to compliment him on this, because often whenever you're going for a fast castle, it can be very tempting to go for something like Anatolian Hills, get the extra sheep, but going for the early Imams makes so much sense, because you can just get them out onto the map, get them into position, deny these relics. And I'm kind of curious why he didn't go for these ones. I feel like going for these relics here make the most sense, like even coming out over for this one, because he's only got 6 Vils on the age up, right? Like he's still got plenty of time to get over here. So I'm curious exactly what the thinking is and the thought process is behind that. But Spearman moving behind enemy lines. He's looking to try and find any villages he can on food. We can see he's got a little bit of an attack route back here, but for the moment, all the villas going to be back at home on under the town center on the sheep. And there's the battering rams. Instead of the battering rams being on the side of the Ottomans, we see them on the side of the House of Lancaster. So very interesting opening so far. Age up comes through. Men at arms. Men at arms. And I think men at arms make a lot of sense here. You know, we were talking about the prospect of lancers earlier, but the reality is if you go into lancers, then they're going to get countered by any potential spears. Even though at the moment we do see just a lot of yeomen, right? Like, and the men at arm is just going to get kited. I mean, the men at arm will be able to defend against the battering ram, or at least force back the yeoman, and then the Vils can deal with the battering ram. So maybe that's the mindset behind it. First of the men at arms is out, 4 armor compared to the 6 damage of the yeoman, so he should be looking to get +1 ASAP, and we do now see +1 coming through for him. He's also gone for the meta. This isn't through the Imperial Council, so it's still going to be powerful, just not going to be getting that extra speed. And now that 3rd battering ram is through. We are starting to see it. The House of Lancaster rush. If there's anybody who can do it, it is Demu. But at the same time, if there's anyone who can defend, it's Louis MT. He's an incredible player. Very, very strong. Meanwhile, we've got the access to the Ronin. Spears still behind enemy lines, just doing a little bit of a patrol. 4th battering ram going to be coming down, and beautiful control so far from Demu. Just looking to work down all these external buildings, not really going for the throat just yet. Just slow playing it, and definitely the right call, but you can see that these men-at-arm numbers are starting to build up. +1 ranged armor has come through. That's going to mean that the Yeomen are only doing a single piece of damage every single shot. So if you've got, how many Yeomen have we got? 17 Yeomen. How many men-at-arms have we got? We got quite a lot. They've got 155 health, so you're going to be looking at 9 shots to take that out. No, maybe even 10 shots. Yeah, 10 shots to take them out. Okay, Demi-Lance is now coming in. He's looking for this timing push. Men-at-Arms doing a decent job dealing with the battering rams for the moment. Demi-Lancers working their way towards that front line. Yeoman numbers starting to look a little bit better. He's up to 23 Yeoman now, but you can see just how hard it is for him to work down all of these individual men-at-arms. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the Sipahi going to be helping out. We can see they're now going to be making a connection with the Yeoman. Spearman towards the back of the base, going to be chasing through a villager. No villagers go down. Town Center going to be pumping out plenty of bullets there, but for the moment, it looks like Demu could be in a bit of trouble. The men-at-arm number has really stayed quite high, and I want to compliment Louis MT on holding before pushing. What I mean by that is the fact that he didn't just immediately rally men-at-arms towards the Yeoman and let them trickle in one by one. We got a Ronin in here! Oh, he's doing flips! Did you guys see that? He did a little flip. What is it? I don't even know what the Ronin does. But yeah, I want to compliment Louis MT on that. The fact that he was able to go, okay, you know what? I need to wait, I need to hold, and then I can go. Because that's meant now that he's in this position, he's really able to punish the enemy. And Demu's in a little bit of trouble here. We can see that men-at-arms inside the base, together with the Sipahi, doing quite a bit of damage. First of the villagers is going to go down there. In fact, he's taken out 2 already. And now the kiting's going to continue towards that back of the tree line. A little bit hard of a camera angle that we've got. Another men-at-arms going to go down. He's holding for the moment. More being rallied in. We never saw a wall come towards the front, and as a result, it's going to mean it's difficult to stop these reinforcements, to stem the flow. Ronin come through. 5 ranged armor on this bad boy, by the way. What does he... I don't even know what the Ronin does. He does 12 katana attack every 1.38 seconds. Doesn't seem that inspiring, but he's got interesting stats. Weird bonus stats as well. Like plus... What does he have? 4 melee armor and then 5 ranged armor, I think it was, if I remember correctly. We'll have to have another look. But definitely something that we haven't really explored yet. We don't often see this map, and as a result, it's something that we don't get a whole lot of. He's taken out 7 workers already. This is very powerful, considering that obviously on one side you've got the menas that are coming through, but on the other side you've got military schools, right? And these are essentially the same thing. When we consider this, right? Like, it's a trickling building. The only difference is one's trickling resources, the other one is trickling units. And what are you going to do with your resources? You're going to make units. So for all intents and purposes, they're basically the same thing. So that definitely gives a nice little bit of a lead at the moment to our Ottoman player. But the numbers, once again, going to be looking good for Demo. He has managed to slowly but steadily deal with this push. I'd love to see that wall towards the front. I think having walls up to just control the enemy, and I think this has been something that we've sort of seen in a lot of Demo games, is like a lack of walls. Just having these walls to fall back on, it buys you time, right? Like, the reality is you're not always going to be able to get there in time to defend against those attacks. So those walls allow you to do that. But big attacks coming through. He's taken out 2 vills so far. Nice little shot from the Mango. Falls a bit short, working the Demi-Lancer onto the back line. Going to get taken out. Another villager goes down, and he's taken out 3, evening up that villager count slowly but steadily. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh boy, are we getting there. White Tower now going to be coming down as well. The ultimate defense coming through from Demu. The question's going to be about whether or not Louis MT is going to be attacking into this or not. I suspect he's probably going to be playing more into trebuchets. The moment he sees this, that'll switch from battering rams being generated to trebuchets being generated. It's probably the best and realistically the only way you can deal with the White Tower until you're in the Imperial Age. When, of course, your bombards of greatness do eventually make way. 5 ranged armor on the Sipahi. No veterancy in here. He's obviously got +2 ranged armor as well as the extra armor coming through from the meta, and you can see just how tanky these men-at-arms are with their 6 ranged armor. Of course, it's exactly the same compared to the Yeoman when they've got 5, but really able to just clean them out. As long as you're taking out the Sipahi, you're going to be fine. And now the kiting begins. Oh boy. You can see why people would get mad about this unit. Perpetual kiting. Only a single hit. I mean, at the end of the day, Louis MT knows what's happening, right? This is all part of the plan. He's doing this to force these units into a position where where he thinks they shouldn't be, where he can take advantage of. That's probably the best way to say it. Okay, all right. He picks up the relic. We're just watching patiently, waiting to see. Meanwhile, towards the front, it's another push coming through, but there we go. The Earl's Guards are now online. Double Mangonel towards the back. A new age has begun for the last 45 seconds. I'm finally going to switch characters or switch players and get that off our screen. I tell you what, the UI. You know, that's something I should write a new list of things that need to be done for the UI. Because now that we've got the devs on side, now that the devs can actually fix spectator or caster mode, maybe we can start asking for things again. Because I just gave up, man. It was like 3 years ago I put together this giant list and nothing ever got done, and so I just stopped asking. But maybe we can build a list. That's not a bad idea. I'll do that. I'll sit down and do that. I'll sit down and do that a little bit later. But for the moment, I'm just gonna stand. I'm just gonna stand because I've got a desk that can go up and down. It's magic. Oh, that's not magic though. That is a relic that's gonna get taken out. And speaking of relics, we've already got a 4-0 advantage here. That's the last relic on the map. Demu gonna be a little bit upset with that. Has he dropped the monastery down just yet? It doesn't look like it. No real monastery back here. Meanwhile, the Mangonels able to hit off. Lance is now going to be looking for the charge on the Yeoman. Yeoman have got speed, though. They are absolutely on the go, man. The Yeoman, and now +2 going to be coming through as well as veterancy. That'll give them a bit more damage. I think for the moment, you probably... Oh, comes back in for the meta. I think for Demu, realistically, all you want to do is just run here. I don't even think you want to kite. There's no point. Yeah, there's no point in attacking. You just do too little damage. And now we do finally see he gets that upgrade. So 6 armor versus 8 damage. So he's getting +2 damage. He's about to increase that by 50%, going to 3 damage in a minute. But you can see that just the lack of spears here is really starting to haunt him. Meanwhile, down towards that northern position, up towards that northern position, let's go with that. We see that third sacred site going to be captured here for Louis MT. So Louis, just with a very small amount of units, is somewhat hurting the Yeoman, but this is the Yeoman-only strategy. There are a couple of Earl's Guards that are going to get mixed in, going to help and tank that front. Of course, they're going to be taking quite a bit of damage from those Lancers as well. But it's going to give him a little bit of space. +2 now come through as well. He's got 9 ranged attack. And that's, you can see he's really starting to cut through that armor quite a bit more effectively now from those men-at-arms. Sacred victory is approaching. All 3 sites are captured, all 3 sites on one screen. So this is exactly where you need to go, where you need to begin moving those units. Synchronized shot about... No, that's not synchronized shot. That's levy. He just called the levy in. Oh my god, that's the saddest levy I've ever seen. He levied 12? 11. He levied 11 yeomen. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that is a sad state of a levy. So the way that the levy works is it gives you yeomen based on how many manas you've got. And if you've only got 3 manas, it doesn't give you a lot of yeomen. So I think he was probably expecting to get 17, which is, I think it's 8 + 1 for every mana that you've got, and he only got 11. And it's not fun. It's not pretty. You were expecting so much more, Demo, I'm sure. Oh, gosh. It's all right. We'll allow it. Mangoes looking. Yeoman still coming. It's Yeoman only. He's literally trying Yeoman only. We don't see any other units on the field. I think at this point, is he memeing? He's definitely not dreaming, that is for sure. This is a real casted game. This is a real game that is happening in real time. And look at this, the Lancer numbers really starting to build here. Doing a wonderful job, but the micro continues. The kiting continues. The world's strongest archer, and I will definitely posit that this is the best archer in the game right now. I think it's better. Actually, the Yumi Ashigaru kind of good as well, just from a numbers perspective. I don't know from an actual tangible perspective, but that's one of the key advantages of this unit is the fact that it's got that extra range together with the speed. It just allows you to constantly kite. And it means that your enemy has such a difficult time getting through to do damage on you. So only things that are going to be able to hit you, and you can see he's actually going to try and focus down that back line, not able to get it off. 37 yeomen still on the field. Now going to be potentially exposing the villagers. Villagers could actually just come up and take this. He's going to do it. Yeah, that's definitely the right call. I think we both kind of realized at the same time, hold on a minute, these villagers, I can use these positively. But unfortunately, it looks like Louis was definitely on the ball here. Ville's going to get caught out of position. In the end, the Mangoes, if they go down, it's a hard price to pay for all these villagers, though. We'll say that much. I'd very much rather be on the Louis MT end of this trade than I would be on the Demu trade. How many vills did we actually see go down there? I can see at the very least there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say maybe 6, probably even 7, somewhere in that region. So that's a lot of villagers that went down, and that's a painful loss. It's a painful loss just to say that you went yeoman only. But we do now start to see a different unit on the field. It's the Lancer. So Demu going to be falling back into the Lancer to help defend him here. We can see he's having a little bit of trouble with regard to wood running out in the main base. And he's just under constant pressure. You can really feel the pressure that he's got. Tell you what, that one shot looks incredible when they get it off. Synchronized shot, has it come through yet? Doesn't look like it. Units rallying towards the front. Louis MT, you know whose playstyle reminds me of Louis MT, or Louis MT's playstyle reminds me of? It's Vortex and Luciferon. Louis plays a very similar style now. I don't think he used to play this. I feel like he used to be a bit more of a laid-back player, but now he's very aggressive. Like, it has been non-stop aggression that we have witnessed over the last, what, last 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes even? It's just been non-stop. It's been constant. Keep going to come online as well, over towards this west side. Now, by the way, I'm not sure if this is Louis MT, but I'm 99% sure it is because he's ranked number 2 on the ladder at the moment. So and he's from China. I'm 99% sure it's Louis MT. And Louis's been changing his name a little bit lately. He's been mixing it up, so you know we'll allow it. But it looks like the new set of menace has now come down. So we've got a total of 6 menace online. The trouble is that this is quite late into the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Louis throws down a second town center. Which he's done. In fact, he's had this for a long time. Now that I look at the numbers, he's had to have had this for at least 2 or 3 minutes now. So his economy is going to be scaling at the same time. And the numbers continue to be... I'm a bit confused by Demo. I'm going to be honest. I think that maybe he's just trying to test it. Maybe... And at the end of the day, you know, like, let's say I ran up against Demo in the ladder. And he goes Yeoman only, and he beats me. It doesn't really mean anything, right? Because Demo's just that much better than me. But if you can pull off Yeoman only against Louis MT, then we can talk about the strength of that unit. So the fact that he's doing this against one of the world's best players and really trying to make it work, I think this is like the best circumstances you could ever ask for to see whether or not this has actually got some legs to it. But my suspicion is it probably won't. I think Lancers are going to do absolutely fine against them. But he's going to try and pick them off. We can see working his magic. Maybe if you just mixed in spears just to be annoying. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because the Lancers are always just going to be able to one-up you. Even though you've got that really high movement speed, I don't know if it's ever really going to count because the Lancers are just able to catch you. The big thing is, like, if you're against Cataphracts, then maybe you could do it. But against Lancers, because they've got the charge, and the charge allows them to close the gap so much easier, it's really not viable, at least in this situation. IMO. I mean, that's just judging from what we've seen. When you've got evenly balanced players now moving up. A bunch of villagers. It's already in a bad position. He's got very little stone back towards the base, picking off these units, and now these villagers are going to be exposed towards this position. He's also got wolves over on the west. Careful, Demu. You don't get close to that wolf den, my friend. Meanwhile, towards the south side, the Yeoman continue to move. Vill's going to try and find a way through, but at the same time, look at this meta. Vill's army going to be coming up here as well. We start to see a number of knights making their way up. He's caught on the wrong side of it, though. Louis trying to find a way through with all these units. The Yeoman not going to let him. Meanwhile, quick wall towards the top side. He wants to stop any sacred site shenanigans from being finalized here. And now Demu says, I'm just here for the stone, man. Just give me the stone. I'm running out of stone back home. I've only got 100 left. I need to find an additional source ASAP. And that, I mean, that's one of the things about this map, right? Like, all these resources are just out on the map. And now Demu running through all of the wolves. These are big boy wolves as well. Look at the size of these pack wolves. They're as big as the Yeoman. And now I'm beginning to move forward. Looking to try and focus down. You can see just how much trouble you've got with these units. I mean, against the Sipahi, he's able to really cut through them, but against the Knights, they hold on quite a bit longer. He's going to throw a keep down on this sacred side towards the north. Meta going to go down. Meanwhile, back towards the south side. Meta Arms looking for villagers anywhere. He's taken out a couple more villagers, but looks like the keep will probably come online. There are Knights moving. Oh, I take it back. Oh, I take it back. Oh, I take it back so much. I take that back very much. I mean, we're losing. Pick one. Do you want to lose your villagers or do you want to lose your army? Because you don't get to keep both here. He's going to try for a little synchronized shot. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Keep is coming online. But it looks like it's probably going to be a mix of both today. He's chosen column A as well as column B. The keep will get on. Oh, it's looking doubtful. It's looking real doubtful. He's moved the army back a little bit too far. The vills. Oh, he gets it up with one single villager remaining. He's lost so many. 39 vills against 86. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, men at arms just doing their thing. Even the villagers are helping out. Louis MT tearing him apart right now. Even if the sacred site does get neutralized, at the end of the day, it's just such a hard position to come back from. He's really tried to make it work, but I don't think it's possible. At least not against an evenly skilled opponent. Maybe if you were bullying, I think you could 100% get away with it. I think what's interesting is the fact that even if you just mixed in a couple of spears, it would have been a different game. Completely different ball game. Like, spearmen together with the Billman upgrade just absolutely shred this. And I think that's a huge component of this civilization. The fact that you can just get away with playing a trash army, it feels very good, right? Like, because he's clearly able to snipe out meta arms with this many units. the only real risk that you've got is mangonels, right? Like, how do you deal with a mangonel? If you've got a whole bunch of yeomen, a whole bunch of spearmen, I mean, you can try and dive onto them. I guess you can synchronize shot. That's actually a good call. Whoa, my game just crashed. All right, well, we're going to have to work that one out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave that one there. The game just completely crashed. Hopefully you're still with me, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.